So after interviewing all these healers and these people who have done this significant work, there's one thing. If I could pull from all of it, condense it all down into one single message, it would be to lean into pain. Physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, lean into it. Pain is temporary.
Like, I'm gonna be sharing stuff that's like totally, it hits me on a core level. Right now, I put myself under so much pressure to change. Like, I finally hit this place inside my life where I said, no more, I'm not gonna accept this anymore. Like, I have to shift. I have to make a change inside my life. I made this massive jump. I jumped with no parachute. I quit my job. I walked away from it because it wasn't serving me anymore in the direction that I needed. And by putting myself inside this type of pressure, under this type of pressure, I know I'm either going to succeed or I'm going to fail. Like, I'm either gonna do something bigger or I'm gonna continue doing the same damn thing. I don't recommend this for most people.
Right? So we all make choices. Things happen. We can choose to address them. We can choose to walk away from them. I've been choosing to ignore it. I've been saying, I'll suck it up. It'll be okay. Just keep going. And eventually, I got to a point where this thing happened, and I was just like, no, I'm not gonna take that anymore. I'm trying to decide how much of this I want to share, because it's totally personal, right? And there are other people involved, and I don't want to point fingers. I don't want to say that, because ultimately, when it comes down to like issues that we face, like, we can point our fingers and we can blame other people, or we can take responsibility for them. I choose to take responsibility for mine. I finally got to the point where I was like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like, there's certain behaviors I'm willing to tolerate from the people inside my life, and there's certain behaviors that I'm not gonna tolerate. And when I finally hit that point where I said I'm not gonna tolerate it anymore, unfortunately, it also meant that my livelihood, the way that I support my family, ended. And I have a few options out there, but everything, all these options, nothing is in place, nothing is built. The only thing that I really have created any momentum in is my YouTube channel. I've spent massive amounts of money on learning how to work with people in a way that contributes to their growth, contributes to them expanding. And I've spent a significant amount of time in learning about energy and how to create, positive momentum inside of our vitality of our bodies, and how we eat, how we fuel ourselves. And I did it all kind of for selfish reasons, because my body was suffering at a young age. I mean, like, by the time I was 22, I weighed 250 pounds. I finally hit this point where I was like, this wall where I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this anymore. And so I started learning about how to create a healthy body, how to get myself in shape. And that launched me on this journey. But ultimately, I saw a lot of suffering in my family, degrees of mental illness and addiction and psychosis. And I started worrying about that for myself. Like, am I gonna struggle mentally? Like, am I gonna lose my shit when I'm 30? It's a worry when you see so many close relationships around you fall apart, so many people fall apart, lose grasp and touch with reality, destroy the beautiful things inside of their lives because of addiction or because of mental illness. These were people that I loved and cared about, so I saw them at a deep level, at the soul level, and I knew that, deep down there's a spark within each of us, within all of us, that's divine. And that spark doesn't die just because the brain is sick. That spark doesn't die just because our bodies are sick. I wanted to help people break through. I wanted to help people who felt like they were trapped break through. The unfortunate side of this is that I don't know how to do it and make money. I don't know how to do it and support my family. I want to dive into this thing full bore. But I have kids I have to worry about. I have a wife I have to worry about. I have my family. And in this whole thing, I've been working on helping people learn about these processes and these steps, and really it's how to use our minds. And I'm having to train myself. I quit work that wasn't feeding my soul because I knew that if I kept doing it, I was in a comfort blanket. I was in a comfort zone. And so I threw myself out into the storm. And I feel the wind right now. I feel the rain. I feel the snow. And I am at a point where I have to take massive action in some direction. I have to commit to something. At my age, I'm 34. This is not a new place for me. I've lost now 2 businesses, and when I lost those businesses, it's not like I had something to fall back on. I mean, I fell back on the experiences that I had already had. So, I had a carpet cleaning business. I lost that because I didn't pay attention to paperwork for purchasing the business. And ultimately, after paying around $100,000, I had to walk away from it because the transaction didn't happen. So there I was, bam, what do I do? So I just did what I could. I started doing construction and I fell back on a hobby, growing pot. And it just so happened at that time, the state that I was living in, oh, what's going on here? The state that I was living in decided that they were gonna make medical marijuana a doable thing. So I turned it into a business. I ran that. Things were going great. I went and partnered with somebody. Bam! Lost it. Because it was a bad partnership. The guy was a crook, and I didn't know it. He was manipulating me. I was subject to his manipulations because of the inherent weaknesses from within me from being programmed as a child. Experiences that I had, the family dynamics, it created an opening, a gap within me that allowed somebody to take advantage of me. So I learned quick. Bam, there I was again. I managed to figure something out and partner with somebody else. And it was a partnership that didn't serve me ultimately. It was a partnership that I was building somebody else's dream. I got my own dreams to build, And any kind of business partnership, you're creating a relationship, and eventually relationships, they either work or they don't. You either stay in a bad relationship or you get out. I chose to get out. I wanted to come out here and get in the wilderness so that I could get in touch with myself, and think to myself. And instead, I'm just talking to you. Where it's been challenging is, one, making that decision. That was tough. Making the decision to call it quits, to walk away. Because I was walking away from a paycheck. I have enough where I can support my family for a little bit, but I gotta make something happen. The second part was, when I committed and after I did it, man, it felt so good. It felt so good to get that stuff out of me, to finally come to a definite decision and make it happen. And there was this short period of like a euphoria. Like, I made moves, and then reality kind of sets in, and it's like, whew, you better figure something out quick, because stuff's falling apart. You have to do something, and I'm frustrated with the state of the world right now. You go get a job, where we live, you can make $15, $20 an hour, and I think it's like this around the country. That's barely enough to pay your bills. Like, I want to experience life. I want to travel. I want to take my kids places. I want them to see things. I want to be able to take a month off of work for no reason at all other than the fact that I want some freedom. And you don't get that when you get a job. You get that when you create something. You get that when you hustle. So I need to hustle. And I found myself in this spot where it's like, to make a commitment now, after failing 4 significant times inside my life, I don't want to have to start over again. I don't want to have to start at ground zero again. Unfortunately, this is where I find myself. And I have spent the last 2 years with this YouTube channel interviewing and talking to people who've done significant things in the world, accomplished massive things. built huge businesses, helped lots of people, created transformation, overcome chronic illness, made tools. Just people who operate at another level than the average person who just settles for life. And the only reason why you're watching this is because you're somebody who does not settle. You're somebody who knows that there's more out there, and you're willing to go for it. You're willing to do it. You're willing to take the steps necessary. I was hoping that I would find like the easy button. How do I make my climb to the top easy? How do I make success easy? How do I dial in my body, keep it easy? You wanna know something that I've finally come to terms with? There is no fucking easy. It's always gonna be hard. It's always gonna be struggle if you are moving outside of your comfort zone. So you have the choice. Do I want it easy, or do I want it the way I want it? I'm not gonna settle for easy. I'm not gonna settle for comfort. Something else has become very real, is that I have felt inside, I'm questioning whether I made the right choice. I know I made the right choice. I know it. But there's this part of me inside that's saying, are you sure about that? You had a paycheck. Like, you had a way to support your family. Now you don't, unless you make something. So that place of comfort is gone. So after interviewing all these healers and these people who have done this significant work, you know, there's one thing, if I could pull from all of it, condense it all down into one single message, it would be to lean into pain. Physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, lean into it. Pain is temporary, and it's human nature that we move away from pain. We walk away from it. We don't want pain. I mean, that's what healthy adults do. That's how we learn to survive. It's our coping mechanism. If something hurts, don't do it. It's the only way that we're gonna make progress. It's the only way that we're going to do anything significant in our lives. Lean into pain. Don't run from it. Well, I am just about back down. I made it to the summit, and I had time to think, and I didn't record when I got up there, or I didn't focus back on this message until now, because I really wanted to get a sense of like, what were my thoughts, like what did I put together while I was out there, and while I was focused on this one specific issue, and that is getting myself going, and what direction to take, you know, like what focus is the best. And you know, what I walked away from was no magical ideas, but I did have a couple of thoughts and inspiring moments that, you know, led me to want to share them with you. The first off is that, you know, all this knowledge that I've gained, I thought that would make this easier. I was talking about this. I thought it would make my journey easier, and that I would develop the secret formula, and unfortunately there isn't one. It's just doing it. You know, knowledge is one thing, but taking action is something totally different. So taking specific action and focusing on it, the biggest thing that I wanted to share with you, this is the most important, and this is something that's been brewing in my mind for the last few days, and that's that when I put myself in this fucking pressure cooker situation where I don't know, you know, what is going to come next. I'm just putting my faith in life, in the universe, in source, and God, and whatever you want to call it, and I'm putting faith in myself to figure it out, because I've been in these types of situations before and I always figured it out. It may not turned out the way that I wanted, but it did. And in this particular one, because of all the inner work I've been doing over the last couple of years, like I'm really paying attention to it now. And what am I feeling specifically? What are the thoughts going on in my head? And in this situation, like I find myself asking a lot, am I capable? Can I do this? You know, like who the hell am I to try to help people? And these types of thoughts are going on inside my head, and it keeps me from moving forward. And the reason why it's been keeping me from moving forward is because when I think these things, I push them away. And I'm like, that's bad. Don't think that. You know, think positive thoughts. All that kind of bullshit. And something that's hit me recently is like, yeah, dude, who the hell are you to help somebody? Like really think about it. Like, if you have a thought, if you have a belief, like, oh, like something that's been going on in my head, I'm a failure. I'm a failure. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And I've been running away from it. And what I'm realizing is stop running from it. Like, face it. Dude, you are a failure. You have failed. That's okay. Like, why push that shit away and not acknowledge it? Why not own the shit that's real in your life? Like, if you fucked up, like, admit it. I fucked up. I made a mistake. I failed. I screwed somebody over. I was a bad person. Whatever. We can't even go forward. We can't even move on until we own the shit that's inside of our lives, until we own what's reality. And so, like, I've been calling myself a failure in my head. You know, it's like a lot of almost self-loathing going on. And I've been trying to push it away. I've been trying to hide from it. You know, I failed in business. I probably could have done better. I could have made better decisions. I could have said different things to people. I could have made different decisions. But I didn't. I made mistakes. Fuck it. Lean into the shit that hurts, you know? Lean into it. And let those painful truths ignite your fuel for the next level. For whatever you're going for next. So I'm owning it, guys. I've made mistakes. I fucked up. I could have done better. Here I go. Hope you join me for the ride.